Project Zomboid is a simulation game of how are you going to die. With that in mind, I had streamed myself on Twitch playing this game with the very aim in mind of trying to survive as long as possible. Dead. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Obviously, you can see how well that went, but the journey is yet to begin, so let's start with where it all began. Shad Vines was an unemployed man, but in life he was gifted. See, Shad was naturally tough, he had thick skin. No amount of words could hurt him, you could be millennial, cuck, whatever. He was not going to be bothered by what you said. And trying to leave him hurt? You'd be looking to bruise him at best. And in his spare time, he was unemployed. He had a lot of free time, he did a lot of exercise, he dedicated himself to keeping himself fit, and it's going to pay off for sure. And despite all that, although he was one who could drive, he was pretty methodical. He liked to take things nice and slow, be safe and all that. And his clothing style was ahead of its time. People would call him weird, but as Shad was a man of individuality, he didn't care what a modern person thought in 1993. He knew in the future, this would be the look people would kill for. I'm not going to be going for too much. Wait, this dude looks like a hipster. This dude is a hipster before hipsters were a thing. Does this not look like a hipster you'd see in like the 2010s? He definitely does. With that, let's start on our first day with Shad Vines. Shad Vines, God help you. Welcome to Zombie Apocalypse. While we're loading in, I should mention this was all streamed on my Twitch at twitch.tv/honeybunch62, so feel free to check it out sometime. I'm not streaming 24/7, but hey, any company is appreciated. Let's go on with the video. So, Shad did have quite a great start. On the very first day, it was foggy and pretty cold outside, in April no less. Are we really starting with fog? Really? Considering this had happened to me in a previous offline one I did on the exact same map, Mordra, might I add, and near enough in the exact same spawn location as said previous one, I genuinely thought I was cursed. Time in a row, because I had this problem last game. I started a new character, what do I get? I get fog. Not just a little bit, full-blown fog. I don't know if I've messed with the fucking options. What the fuck? Right. But I couldn't dwell on it for too long. Time was wasting. It was day 0 of the apocalypse, so it was only a matter of time before I'd lose out on the one thing that all Project Zomboid players needed most. The TV. Wait, oh, am I on the right channel? I did not go to the right channel. Quick. This is not the right channel. I'm still fairly new to the game, and I can't quite fathom out how on earth sitting in front of a TV for 10 minutes magically makes you better at stuff like carpentry or cooking. But hey, what do I know? It's just a damn game. Shad, he's learning all this stuff, not me. With the live delivery show over for the next few hours, it was time to loot the house to see what I had available. The first good note I found was a jacket. Given it was freezing cold outside, so I was going to need it. The next thing that caught my eye was a school bag. I like to think that Shad is a man who held onto it for sentimental value. Nostalgia from the school days. And we give a manners that Shad is in fact a hipster, and even in fact as some would say, a Reddit moderator. Yeah, I love him as well. Yeah, this guy definitely browsed Reddit if it existed back then. Naturally, it's 1993, so Shad has no concept of this Reddit thing, so maybe some new food comes in the next 20 years or so. Who knows? Armed with a frying pan and the house looted and barricaded, it was time for Shad to harness his inner neckbeard power and face the outside elements. My dude? Let's go. Now obviously, any normal person would take one look at the fog outside and go,
"You're going out there? In that fog? With those outside? Who's crazy enough to do that?"
It turns out, Shad Vines is. And in turn, so am I. The plan was simple. Step 1, liberate the nearby houses for any good stuff, like books. Step 2, kill all the zombies that would come along the way. Step 3, barricade the house further and sit inside. Step 4, go to the Winchester, have a bite, and wait for the small creatures to blow over. Okay, wait, maybe the last one might be a bit out of place. Might be what else we're gonna do? Wait for the military? Those bastards can't save themselves. After all, anyone who's seen the zombie apocalypse move for more than 2 minutes already realises the military is as useless as using a string to hold water. We're either gonna die in 5 seconds, or they'll kill everyone and nuke the whole place. And while we're looting, I feel like it's important to mention that Shad is not up against any normal zombies. No. I've got the personalised zombies mod installed, which allows me to have 6 zombie types that can have varying amounts of speed, health, fragility, amongst other abilities. Unfortunately for Shad, and later myself, I added a couple of fast zombies. And if that wasn't bad enough, the fastest ones I added could open doors if they weren't locked. Where did I put those box of nails? Oh my god! That zombie opened the door. Why did I do this? Now you see, that's a very great question. Now, masochism probably, but who knows. Moving on, while I've been rambling on about zombies in the military being too busy jacking themselves off to finally living their dreams of committing war crimes on the undead civilian populace without worrying about being court-martialed or trialed, Shad was looting and he found himself a gun. That is actually very good. Now with his aiming at level 0, it was basically a death wish from him to try hitting the bullseye of a bomb with it, forget actually trying to shoot some shambling corpse we had him towards him. So for now, Shad, after admiring his newly liberated gun for the next few minutes, carefully puts it away and saved it in case he needs to kill some of his undead neighbours later on. But the house was not fully looted yet, so he searched more and found an upgrade to his school bag. He really liked that bag, but in these desperate times, size matters, and he had to come to grips that his school bag would be a detriment to him, so he put that on his back and put all the loot he had just acquired from his school bag into his hiking bag instead. Oh, and he also found a Xecoctovach Fedora, but he already had one, so that wasn't going to be necessary to pick up. Trouble struck when Shad was looking through the kitchen window after acquiring a kitchen knife, and a lovely guest was shuffling over to the window he was looking through. Using his galaxy brain, he opened the window to let the zombie freely climb in without breaking anything, and engaged in a one-on-one fight. After that amazing fight, Shad had looted a curtain from a nearby bathroom that was no longer going to be used and ran back home. After putting up the sheets on the door and unloading his loot, Shad still felt there was plenty of time to go back into the white void outside and continue looting. And after some minutes of searching and bashing zombies' heads in, his luck turned up when he found a zombie that had firefights gear on. Given it was still pretty chilly outside and felt thicker than his current clothes, Shad made the unhygienic choice to strip down and put on the fireman's bloody clothes, as well as the hat, foregoing the fedora. This dude's got like all the good clothing. I need to sacrifice the fedora, I'm sorry. Sorry fedora dude, we need to let you go. And not long after acquiring this new gear, Shad ran into his first problem with dealing with the undead. See, because some of the zombies were faster than their slower siblings, it was harder to predict where they'd come from, and if we heard them coming, they might already be on top of him, which caused some problems. But luckily for Shad, he managed to beat the 2 devils that were on top of him and continued to loot onwards, securing several magazines and books, and continuing to move from house to house to secure more loot. Along the way, fortunately for Shad, he found himself a car next to a burnt house, though with no keys in it he wasn't getting far with it. And just as he was sitting next to the car, he got a feel for how dangerous it was just being outside in the fog. There he is. After the fight, Shad decided to retreat home, and he remembered something. He had some radios in his house, and had lost knowledge of there being some automated broadcast system that could be used if there were ever any emergency scenarios. However, after searching the 2 radios he had at home, he didn't even have the knowledge of such a channel noted down, only the general news stations, and he didn't even know if that channel was active. The only hope he'd have is to find another radio elsewhere that had the notes scribbled down somewhere. Thus began the journey to find the automated emergency broadcast system for the radios. So, more loot continued, and his encounters with the undead grew more and more, the numbers slowly increasing with each encounter. And at one point, Shad found himself next to a motorbike. After killing what was probably once the owner, he searched around but no luck to find the keys to it. Probably a good thing. Shad hadn't actually used a motorbike before, and without the right gear and equipment, and in this fog, it'd probably be a death wish for him. In one of the houses he found some food ready to be cooked, with the previous owners nowhere to be seen, and although his stomach wasn't aching with hunger, he still decided to cook what was abandoned and eat it all up. I mean, it'd rot otherwise. Afterwards, he moved to the next house. However, he had one encounter he was not prepared for after climbing through the window and losing the building he was in. Nightbot Stream Element's doing his job, as usual. Survival instant, I'll take that. Hold on. Wait, I thought I closed that! You mean to tell me I did not close that? Okay. Some bullshit's happening here. Little did Shad, or I, realise that the window was in fact closed, and the zombie simply had the brain cells in his mind still to open it. This was the first sign that things were going to go downhill from here in the zombie apocalypse. But, moving on, Shad moved back to the fire truck he found earlier. After bashing some more zombies' heads in, replacing some clothes he was wearing, his luck improved as he searched the trunk of the vehicle and came across a fire axe, which would be a much better replacement for his damaged frying pan. But that wasn't all. Another sign of his luck improving was just as he walked on and on, the fog was starting to get lighter and it became much easier to see what was ahead of him. Oh, the fog's clearing up. That's amazing. Chopping some zombies' heads in, he found himself upon a pickup truck. Clearly damaged and abandoned, but with lots of loot in the back of it, including some first aid kits, toolkits, and some gloves to protect his hands with. Back on the looting scene, Shad found himself in one of the more richer areas of Mordra, and after entering a house and clearing it out, he felt a lot more safe than he did in his first home, especially since he decided to sit with the TV that was left on. But since life and living wasn't going to start for another 30 minutes, he decided to actually finish looting the house, to which he found several tools and weapons in a closet, and a revolver in the bedroom. Would he actually use it? It was a question for future Shad to answer. Moving to the bathroom, he found several sheets to use on the windows. Committing to barricading this new spacious home, he put sheets around the area he'd be in mostly so the zombies couldn't see him. And thankfully by the time he put his final sheet on the door, the Life and Living channel had just gone live, to which he quickly ran back and sat down to watch. And with the Live and Living show over for the day, Shad decided while there was still some daylight left, he should run back home and grab as much as he could and bring it back to his new home. He had just had to hope that others wouldn't come back while he was gone, not that it was likely. And with the day ending soon enough and daylight quickly dwindling, Shad decided the best course of action was to put the radio he brought with him on the table, do some organising and read a book for a couple hours before he got some rest. Just before he went to bed, he set an alarm and went straight to bed as it was closing to midnight. But that was when disaster struck. See, one thing Shad overlooked before his slumber was that there was a window in the bedroom he slept in, and he forgot to close the curtains on it. During the night, a couple of zombies had broken in and wandered around the bedroom while he was asleep. Now, your guess is as good as mine as to why they didn't immediately eat him, or why Shad didn't wake up to the sounds of glass shattering in the middle of the night and lots of groans. But hey, this is Project Zomboid logic we're talking about. So on that fateful morning at 5:30 AM on the 2nd of April 1993, this happened. Really? But dude, come on! What is this? What is this look? I can't, I'm actually stun locked. Okay. I feel like, you know, the dude should have woken up after hearing a glass window being broken. And that was the chapter of Shad finds. Closed, forgotten, never to be opened again. But was this the end? As they say, when one door closes, another one opens. A new chapter begins. Join me next time on this Project Zomboid series. I'm Badger's Den, and thank you for watching.